Kobe Bryant once said this about him. It was like looking at a reflection of myself 19 years ago. It was pretty cool. As a teenager, he was already on the cover of Sports Illustrated before suiting up for a single college game. However, once he entered the league, he had been nothing but a mediocre disappointment. In hindsight, he was never the franchise-altering superstar we expected him to be. Just when he was written off as a bust, the Canadian forward underwent a transformation nobody saw coming. This is the fascinating career story of Andrew Wiggins. As a youngster, he had garnered media attention and celebrity status far beyond any high school player before him, except for LeBron, of course. You saw the YouTube videos, the viral social media posts. He looked like a grown man among kids, dominating his peers without breaking a sweat. Before every away game, the line for tickets to see him stretched down the sidewalk and around the corner. Kids would approach him for autographs in the mall or at movies. Naturally, he was welcomed with open arms at any collegiate program in the nation. As a freshman at Kansas, Wiggins averaged 17.1 points on nearly 45% shooting from the field. He was named a semi-finalist for the Naismith College Player of the Year award. For the young college star, the only criticism at the time was that he lacked a certain kind of killer instinct. His coach at Kansas, Bill Self, even joked about it, saying to Wiggins, "God damn, quit being so nice." One game, he could absolutely exploded for 40 points against West Virginia, and then he would immediately went on to have a stinker in their NCAA tournament elimination loss, where he only scored 4 points on 6 shots. However, just like many highly touted prospects before him, most of these criticisms were being brushed over. In the 2014 NBA draft, the Cavaliers made Wiggins the #1 overall pick. He was going to partner with Kyrie to start his career. Everything seemed to be going so well, until a 3-word statement completely changed everything. "I'm coming home." 2 weeks after the draft, LeBron James announced his departure for Cleveland. Suddenly, the young Canadian would have to start his career up north in Minnesota. Wiggins' rookie season started slowly. By many advanced metrics, he was quite underwhelming. He finished 272nd in real plus-minus and had a PER of just 13.97. But Wiggins had everything needed to be successful. His burst off the dribble was ridiculous. He also had an array of juke moves, shakes, and hezzy. The only thing preventing him from being great was his nonchalant attitude. His coach Ryan Saunders even called him as soft as Dairy Queen ice cream. But Wiggins simply looked like he didn't even care. In 5.5 seasons with the Timberwolves, Wiggins had constantly left coaches, teammates, and fans wanting more. When it came to understanding matchups, identifying passing lanes, it was fair to say Wiggins didn't have a very high basketball IQ. He struggled to make the right play on a regular basis. Wiggins also had a habit of hunting low-efficiency mid-range jumpers. In each of Wiggins' 5 full seasons with the Wolves, at least 40% of his shots came from the mid-range, and he didn't make nearly enough of them to justify it. The 6'8" Canadian forward was both tantalizing and tormenting at the same time. He was a player who could make your jaw drop one play and make you pull your hair out the very next. Even though he kept showing flashes of brilliance, Wiggins essentially was a high-volume, low-efficiency stat padder who didn't provide much outside of scoring. As a primary scoring option, he was forcing a lot of shots that he had no business taking. By the 2018-19 season, the core of Wiggins, Towns, and Levine simply wasn't working, and they had done very little to inspire confidence that the change was coming. Hence, the organization traded for Jimmy Butler and immediately converted the team into win now mode. Sure enough, the Wolves finally started to have some level of success. But in the middle of the season, Butler was out indefinitely with a meniscus tear. Suddenly, they went from a top seed to being almost eliminated from the playoffs entirely. However, on 10th of October 2018, Jimmy Butler made his return in the most theatrical way possible. Butler teamed up with a bunch of third stringers on the team and dominated the starters in the scrimmage. He was relentless going up against Wiggins and Cat, hurling insults like, "They ain't shit, they soft," straight in their face. Butler was hoping for one of the Wolves' young stars would respond to his energy. Instead, Wiggins just smiled, like he always did. Jimmy Butler wasn't just running on hot emotions. In the offseason, Andrew Wiggins was rewarded with a $147.7 million max extension, when Butler was the one who helped the team snap the 14-year playoff drought. The infamous practice fiasco ended with Butler being traded to the 76ers. For a player as gifted as Andrew Wiggins, he never had the mental makeup and killer instinct his tremendous talent indicates. As a 6'8" forward with long arms, Wiggins had a disgustingly low rebounding rate. He grabbed more than 10 rebounds only twice in his over 400 career games with the Wolves. Sometimes it was challenging for him to even stay engaged throughout the game if he wasn't the center of the play. Defensively, he was again all over the map. He was known for his infrequent focus and effort, blowing coverages, and giving up easy plays. The Timberwolves even tried to make him the leader of the team, but his laid-back personality and absence of outward passion means he could never become the alpha of the team. After 5.5 seasons of mediocre disappointment, Andrew Wiggins was traded to the Golden State in 2020. For the Warriors, they didn't need Wiggins to be their focal point. He is now a luxury, not a necessity, which he was perfect for. Wiggins, for the first time in his career, was no longer coasting on his God-given athleticism. He embraced the challenge of overcoming his burden as an inefficient scorer, and he quietly ascended to the most trustworthy wingman of Steph Curry. During the final series, he finally tapped into his extraordinary talent. He showed so much heart, toughness, and tenacity by doing all the dirty work. He was battling for rebounds in traffic, hounding Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and made their life miserable. After a 2-1 deficit, he went for 17 points and 16 rebounds in Game 4, and followed that by 26 and 15 in Game 5. His performance helped pulling the Warriors out of the hole and pushed them to the brink of a title. A winner was never a label attached to Wiggins since the start of his career. But now, he took his opportunity with the Warriors and completely flipped the script on his career narrative. Maybe it wasn't Wiggins' fault after all. For someone who never wanted the spotlight, unrealistic expectations were forced upon him. He may not be the savior Timberwolves and fans were hoping for, but he undoubtedly had one of the most unlikely redemption arcs in NBA history. And that's something nobody could take away from him.
We had no idea, that he would make this kind of contribution, but I think it's a reminder that for almost every player in the NBA, circumstances are everything.